Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash. Double honors to the apostle elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. In this lesson, I want to go into this article from End Time Headlines, as you can see right there. And the article goes into how the Amazon won, if I'm not mistaken, with the paying of the palm. As you can see, the title of the article says, "Journalist pays with palm at Whole Foods using futuristic scanners and says it was scarily convenient." And that is the future of payments, where they're connected, where they're combining biometrics with payments, right? I believe it may mention biometrics somewhere in here on the other article that I have as well, right? But that's what we're seeing going on here. Combining payments with your DNA, pretty much your biometrics. So it says here, over the summer, Amazon announced that it would be rolling out its palm scanning payment technology to every one of its 500 plus Whole Foods locations in the US by the end of the year. Amazon had been testing the payment system called Amazon One, right, at a few stores in Seattle since 2021. But I didn't think about it much until recently, when the palm readers appeared one day at the registers of the New York City Whole Foods, where I buy most of my groceries. As someone who writes about tech, I figured it was my duty to try it out in the name of journalism. The palm recognition system works by linking a user's payment information with their unique palm print, right? So let's stop right there. Actually, let's go to this other article I have right here. But pretty much the same thing, but there's a little bit more information here. This is from Boston 25 News. Same thing, Amazon palm scanning technology now at all 32 mass Whole Foods locations. So as we can see here, reading this article, it has expanded. It's no longer in a few areas. It has now been a little bit more expanded throughout the U.S., right? Because he said that, it was a couple of places in Seattle, but now it was at one of the spots in New York. So we can see that they have expanded. Now, going back, let me just read this one more time right here. It says the palm recognition system works by linking a user's payment information, right? So that's your information, your credit card information, right? With their unique palm print. Now, where is it here? Okay, here we go. This is 3. It says Amazon One is 100 times more accurate than scanning 2 irises, which are your eyes. It says it raises the bar for biometric identification by combining palm and vein imagery. So that's what they're doing when they're scanning your hand. Pretty much they're taking the vein imagery, or the outlinings, I guess I could say, or I guess you could say, of your veins in your palm, to match that up with who you are. So again, that's what biometrics. It's taking how the print or the inside of your hand looks, the linings of your vein, how that looks, to link that up and say, when you wave your hand above the scanner, or you put your hand above the scanner is going to scan the outlining of your veins and see if it matches up with what's already in the system. So now it's like, oh, okay, let's just say this is Samantha Brown. Okay, this is Samantha Brown. Okay, yeah. After, when you put your hand there, when Samantha puts her hand over the scanner, it's going to scan her palm, pretty much going to scan the outlinings of her veins, and it's gonna be like, okay, this is Miss Brown. We know who this is. Okay, we know that's her. We know to deduct money from her payment when she comes to Whole Foods and she buys something. We've identified you, not according to who you are, not just through just you paying money. We've identified you by the linings of your veins on the inside of your palm. See, that's what they're doing now. That's how they're going to identify you, not according to you just your regular IDs. No, it's going to be to what's inside of the flesh. And that's another thing as well, which is goes to Revelation 13 chapter, which is what they want to put a small device under your flesh. And that's what John the Revelator saw in Revelation, the 13th chapter, which is also very interesting how they're going beneath the skin, beneath the palm, which is going into the imagery of your vein to identify that it's you. So you see, everything is about what? Going under the skin, going deeper, right? With the Amazon One payment system, they're, uh, using the imagery, I'm going to guess, or the outlinings of your vein to recognize that it's you. With the MOTB, it's going to be, that small device that's inside of your hand, and that's going to have some maybe unique numbers that's tied to you. Think of it something, this is just me spitballing here, thinking something similar to like maybe your social security number, where you have a unique number set that's, unique to you. Maybe that same thing will be with the MOTB. So I just want to bring, matter of fact, let's continue. So I'll read it again. So it says, Amazon One is 100 times more accurate than scanning two irises. It raises the bar for biometric identification by combining palm and vein imagery. And after millions of interactions, right? So they've been testing this out. They've had millions of interactions. So millions of people already use this system. After millions of interactions among hundreds of thousands of enrolled identities, we have not had a single false positive, meaning that the system hasn't, let's, again, using the example of a Samantha Brown, right? We haven't confused Samantha Brown with another woman and things like that through the vein imagery, right? Everything, according to them, has been 100% accurate. It says we continue to invest in research to ensure accuracy and improve the service of for our customers. So just wanted to bring that out just to let you know what it is doing exactly. That's what the Amazon One payment system is doing. It's not just scanning your palm. What is it scanning for? It's scanning the vein imagery, right? Or the vein outlines under your palm. And that's how it's recognizing who you are. It's recognizing your vein, the linings of your vein inside of your palm to recognize who you are. So they know that, so the system knows to deduct the money out of your credit card. Right? So it says the palm recognition system works by linking a user's payment information with their unique palm print, right? Again, see, biometrics. Your information, your credit card information, your payment information, and linking that up with your palm. So once we've identified that this is Miss Samantha Brown, we know that, okay, that links up with that our credit card system, we could deduct the money. We know we've identified this is her. It says if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can also link it with your Prime account. It says no need to fumble in the Amazon app looking for your in-store code any longer, right? That's the convenience, right? Just, using your palm. At Whole Foods, you just hover your palm over the reader or the scanner once you're ready to pay, and the system will find your Prime account, right? Through what? Again, using the example of a Samantha Brown. Miss Samantha Brown, we've put your hand across the scanner. Okay, we've identified who you are through the imagery of your vein. We know to go who you are. We know who to look for in the system according to the vein imagery that we have on you in the system. And now what? Your Prime account, I'm sorry, where is it? It says at Whole Foods, you just hover your palm over the reader once you're ready to pay, and the system will find your Prime account, right, according to that biometric that it has, according to your vein imagery that it has of you. Apply any discounts and charge the credit card you enrolled with. See, that's how it's going to happen, right? That's how it's going to go down. That's how this system is working. It says Amazon One also gives the option to link your government ID to your account so you can use your palm to pay for age-restricted purchases without being carded. So far, this option is only available at one participating Amazon One location. Oh, I forgot to do that. I don't need no do not disturb. Forgot to do that. Well, sorry, Coors Field in Colorado, but the company's page says that more locations are coming soon. And this right here, this Amazon One is just a forerunner, if you will, for lack of a better word, for pretty much the MOTB, right? This is just getting the people ready for the MOTB, which is a small device that John the Revelator saw in his vision that he was given on the island of Patmos that he saw people taking, right? It's a small device that they want to put within your body, right? And in the future, if you've ever watched movies and things like that, because predictive programming, they put this in the movies, right? And even some government officials or non-government officials like Klaus Schwab and things like that have come out and said the same thing. So they're telling you and they're showing, excuse me, apologies. They're not only showing you where they're going, they're even telling you the future of payments, because this is the future of payments. And this is what John the Revelator saw. He saw in the future, in his vision, where people were paying with things through with a small device, an item inside of their right hand, or whether it be their forehead, as well as we're going to read in Revelation 13. And that nobody was going to be able to buy or sell, basically partake in society without that item, it being inside their body. And we're seeing with what the correlation between this and, let's just say, with the well, not let's just say, but with the Amazon One payment system, that what, in order for this system that they're now bringing out, it's not mandatory. I'm pretty sure you could probably, if you want to, pay with the credit card as normal, or pay with cash or whatever. But you see how they're gradualism, right? They're getting the people used to what. Matter of fact, let's use some of the words here. Let's go into this, right? So this is Revelation chapter 13, right? This is Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. And it says, and he calls it all. Who is the he? It starts with the elites. It's not just one individual, right? It is a group of the top banking families, the Illuminati, if you will, that are working together and instituting and pretty much instituting things, or pushing a certain pushing the world in the way that they want to go. They want to get everybody with this small device that's the size of a grain of rice inside of inside of people. All right, that's their outcome. All right, that's what they want, but they can't just just throw it out there and bring it out there on the people already. So what do they have to do? They have to work on the minds of the people, right, to get them prepared. Now, when you go into the word cause it, right? Again, the key is who? The elites, the Illuminati, if you will, right? They're the ones, not just one man, a group of men that want a certain outcome to happen on the world, which is what? They want everybody CHIPPED, right? That's what they want for the whole world. But in order for them to institute that plan on the earth, they can't just bring it out. They need to prepare the minds, they need to get the people ready, right? Now, when you go into the word causeth, right? And even when you think about it, matter of fact, let me explain it. When you go into the word cause it in the Greek is poeo, which means to make ready, to prepare. So he has to prepare and get the people's minds ready to what? For the MOTB, right? For them to receive it. So that way it is something natural to the people. It's something, regular. It's nothing that you haven't already done. Look at the Amazon One and Amazon One payment. You already was scanning your hand. All you have to do now is just put a device inside your hand that we're going to put within inside of you, and it'll be the same thing. It'll just be, now it's just a device inside of your hand that we're scanning. That's all, right? But again, like I said, they can't just, not he, but they can't just bring this thing out. They have to what? Gradualism, get the people ready. When you go into it, like El Tazaiwan will bring out, you have the mentality, you have the technology, the mentality, and the reality. First, you have the technology that comes out. Let's use the Amazon One payment system right now, right? You have the technology and things like that. They're pushing the people, and they want the people to go into a direction that will make it more easy for the people to accept the MOTB. So you have the technology that is out right now, but you need to work on the minds of the people, what? The mentality, to get them, ready for that. So now you have the technology out. Now you need to what? Get the people used to the system. Some of the people will be, let's just say, for lack of a better words, the guinea pigs of it, right? Oh, this payment system, they have the system set up. Oh, this is a payment system. They'll explain it that, look, this is a system where you just pay with your palm. We just need to scan your hand. They may not even tell you directly that it's going to take your vein imagery. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But let's say that they do. We're just going to scan your hand. It's going to scan the outlining of your veins inside your palm, and we're going to link that up with your Amazon account that you have also your billing information on that as well. And that way, when you come here, all you have to do is just scan your hand. It'll scan your imagery, and it'll know that, okay, this is Samantha Brown. We know to deduct the money. We know who you are. So it'll just make it quick and easy for you. Just a, just a system that we're bringing out now and things like that. So if you want to try it, you can try it. If you don't, you can still pay with your credit card and things like that. And like I said, you're going to have some of those guinea pigs that are going to be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I'll try this. This seems interesting. Okay. So that's all I got to do is just scan my hand right here. It's like, yeah, yeah. Just put your hand right there, leave it there for a couple of seconds, right? And it's going to scan your, just breaking down to what they may say. It's going to, it's just going to scan your hand. It's going to scan the outlinings of your vein. Okay, and after you do that, we're just gonna ask you for your Amazon One, Amazon Prime account or whatever, Amazon account or whatever. We're gonna do that, and then we're gonna link it up with your palm reading thing that we just did, and then that way, now when you come here, this is how you'll pay. You'll just scan your hand over the reader, and then it'll just find you in the system, and then it will deduct the money. Simple, easy, just like that, right? That is working on the mentality of people. That is how they're going to. Excuse me. Sorry. Right, that would be the mentality, right? You got to work, you got to get this technology out there, and then now the mentality, you got to get people accustomed to it and things like that. Okay, so okay, right. So now you have to get people. Hold on, Slack, give me 1 second. Okay, Slack, I thought somebody was calling me. Apologies. Anytime you do a video, um, losing my train of thought a little bit. Sorry. The mentality. Now you have to get people accustomed to it, and obviously when people see other people doing this, like, and other people will talk about it, like, yeah, yeah, it's real convenient, it's real nice, it's just simple. They just read your hand, then you just go. You ain't gotta be stuck in this long line and all that type of stuff, So that's getting the working on the mentality of people, and then what? The reality. Now it's what people, more and more people, what was once an idea is now become reality, right? Because the idea was what we need to get people used to the system where they're, you know, using their hand to pay for things now, right? And that's why I said what was once a thought is now become reality. And it's the same thing with the prophecies. What was once just written on paper that people were reading, like, okay, we're reading about Revelation 13. He calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, right? At one point, this was just written on paper. It's like, okay, well, when is this going to happen? Now we're seeing the reality of this prophecies. If you look at Sweden and things like that, you're seeing the reality of this, where it's becoming a normal thing for people to pay with a device inside of their hand, and that device has all the information on it. So what was once written on paper has now become a reality, right? And that's pretty much the same thing that they're doing here with this Amazon One payment, right? They have the technology. You got to work on the mentality, get the people accustomed to paying with this new system. Don't make it mandatory. Remember, this is a serpent. Don't squeeze them too hard, but just squeeze them just enough or push them just enough to where it's like it feels comfortable. It feels easy for them to do it. Then we're seeing our reality. Then we're seeing what we planned come into fruition. Now we're seeing the reality of what we want, and now we got them. So now when we move to the next step, right, which, or should I say, because we'll see how this all plays out when we get to the final step, which is really what they want, which is that MOTB, that small device, right, which I apologize that I'm hesitating to get into it, but I just really want to explain this just to paint the picture that you understand and see what they're doing. Now when they want to move to that final step and they've done all these things, now you see that, okay, well, when they come out with the MOTB, it's going to be like, well, listen, you've already done this. This is no different than the Amazon One payments. We'll see as, things get closer and closer to the end, or closer to when they institute the MOTB, whatever else they may do. Well, you've done, let's just use the Amazon One example since we're talking about. Well, you did the Amazon One thing, right? You just got your hand scanned, and then it had your information there, and then you were just swiping your hand, paying for stuff. This is no different. It's just now there's a device in your hand and things like that, right? And then they'll also use other examples as well. We need to be able to identify you because right now our nation is at a crisis and things like that. So we need to identify, and we need to be able to know who everybody is, right? They have a whole bunch of people coming with the board across the border. They're just letting people in. Let's say these people, something happens with these people where they just start attacking people and violent attacks start happening, right? That could be a reason to institute, well, hey, we need to know who's who. We need to know, maybe we need to know that you're not not I said, we need to know that you're not a terrorist and things like that. We need to know that you're not an active shooter or something like that. So we need this device in you to identify so we know who you are, right? So now let's just get into Revelation 13 and 16, or Revelation 13. So it says, and he calls it all, right? So we understand that the he is really they, which is the top banking families, the Illuminati, if you will, calls it all, right? They use these, their think tanks and things like that to have ideas to how can we get the people in this desired outcome. Their desired outcome is for everybody to have the MOTB in their hands, right? Whether it be the right hand or their forehead, but pursuing to Revelation 14, it doesn't matter so long as you get it, right? So we have a desired outcome. How do we reach to that? Poeo, right? They have to make the people ready. You have to get the people, nudge them in the direction that they want them to go. So they have things like Amazon One payment system that gets the minds of the people ready to accept a future of payments where everything is going to be digital. No more cash, right? No more credit cards. It's going to be waving your hand, right? And most of the time, if you ever notice, it's always with the right hand and things like that, right? Even with the pandemic, with things like that, when it first came out, what was it about? Scanning your right hand or your forehead. See, all these things is what getting the people's minds accustomed to a certain way that they want, according to that desired outcome that they want. This is all predicated on nudging the people, preparing the people's minds for that desired outcome that they want. Right? It says both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now, when you go into that word mark, as we've always gone over consistency, over and over, when you go into that word mark, it's what? Charagma, right? Which pretty much is a cutting into the flesh, right? A thin carved sculpture, graven work. It says a stamp, an imprinted mark, right? Give this example all the time. When you're branding a horse, right? I think it says, right, the mark brand upon horses, right? So it is something that you can see, right? So, or it's a cutting, right? Now, if you cut into something, right, you're not going to cut into it with your finger because you're going to break your finger. So you're going to need a sharp instrument in order to cut into that flesh, right? Just like it says what? The mark branded upon horses. If you're going to brand a horse with something, you need a tool, an instrument as such to do so, which would be the metal prong or whatever that they use. And then they go tss and all that, and the horse neighs and all that, and then, and things like that. And then what? It leaves that mark upon him, right? So in order to mark a horse, you need an instrument, a tool. Same thing with like if you're going to cut into a tree or if you're going to cut something, you need an instrument to do so. So now when you go into the root word of charagma, it is karax. This is the instrument that is going to be used to cut into something, right? It says a pale stake, palisade, or rampart, which is basically a sharp instrument, right? If you ever looked at a pale or a stake, think of like vampires, right? They say stake them in the heart, stake them in the heart, right? Which would be what? The wooden stake, and you'd stab them in the heart, and that's how you would kill vampires. If you ever watched that TV show called Angel, it was about vampires that came back out like in early 2000s, if I'm not mistaken. Right, but that's how you would kill vampires. You get the stake, the wooden stake, it'd have the sharp point, right, like a pencil, and you'd stab them in the heart. That would be the sharp instrument that would be used to what? To cut into something. So now if they're going to put something in your right hand or in your forehead, how would you get something in somebody's hand? Well, the instrument or the modern instrument today to be used to cut into the hand would be what? A syringe or a needle, right? Just like, or like the example I gave with the horse, that prong would be the instrument used to mark the horse, right? That instrument, because you're not just going to mark the horse with a marker, no, right? You're going to mark the horse with that prong, and then you're going to stick it on the horse's side, so that way the whatever mark that you're going to leave on the horse is seen, so people know that that's your property. So it's the same thing here. In order to get that small device that's the size of a grain of rice inside of people's inside of people. It doesn't matter so long as you take it. But let's just focus, because the prophecy does say the right hand. In order to get that in the right hand, you're going to use what? The sharp instrument, the karax, which will be the needle, right? The needle is which is what would be used to get that device inside of your hand, right? So once they stick the needle inside of you, the needle will perform charagma, which what charagma means to, I'm sorry, let's go back to charagma, right? Things carved, sculpture, graven work, right? A stamp, or imprinted mark, right? So, but pretty much charagma really means to make an etching or a cutting. So the karax, which is the sharp instrument or the needle, stick it in your right hand, and that would cut into your flesh, charagma, and then what? The when you go to the root word of karax, it is grapho, right? And it says, where is it? It says to commit to writing things not to be forgotten, write down, record. So when that needle is stuck within you, it's going to cut into the flesh. They're going to do the pushy thing or whatever that the needles do and shoot that thing inside of people's hands. And that small device is going to have on your record all the stuff not to be forgotten. Kind of similar to how with the payment system that they're doing Amazon One, how are they recognizing people to be able to go and see, okay, Miss Samantha Brown. Well, we're using the biometrics, the inside of your vein imagery to identify, okay, this is Miss Samantha Brown. Okay, we know to deduct money from this account, right? So you see how everything is about subdermal, under the skin, right? So that's what it's all about, going under the skin and putting a device there, and that's what the MOTB device that's the size of a grain of rice is about. That small device is going to have all your information on it. It's going to have your social security, your driver's license, your banking account information, everything that you need to be able to use to function society, as the 17th verse will say, to be able to buy and sell. That's how you're able to buy in groceries, function society. That small device is going to have all that information on that small device. That's why it says to commit to writing things not to be forgotten. Because if you lose your social security ID, you're pretty much a ghost. Nobody knows who you are, right? That's how you're able to be identified, right? Same thing with your driver's license, your credit card information, right? These are things not to be forgotten, because this is what helps you function in society. If you don't have none of these things, how are you going to partake in society? What can you do? What are you going to go to a freaking store and say, oh, look, I lost my wallet, but can you still give me some fish and all that? It's gonna speak, sir. We need we need a credit card cash or something like that, right? Right? You need credit card cash. I can't just have you come up here and just take stuff and go out of here. Like, what the hell, right? There needs to be a transaction, and that's going to be the future of transaction. Is going to be paying with your palm, right? Having this device scanned within your right hand. Verse 17, it says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. And when you go into, if I'm not mistaken, it's buy, that says agorazo, or even the root word of that is the agora, right? Which would be the marketplace, where people would go and buy things, right? It says to be in the marketplace, to attend, to do business there, to buy and sell. So the agora is where people would buy and sell things. But a modern day agora would be like your grocery stores and things like that, your stores, wherever you go, right? The chief place of concourse is your Macy's and all that, where you go and buy stuff and things like that. Your Nike stores, wherever it may be, Nordstrom, I don't know, these places. I'm just thinking of places that my mother shops, right? So all these places, but again, if you don't have this device, because this will be the future of payments, it's going to be through having that small device in your right hand or on your forehead, and that's going to have all your information, all your billing information. So that's how they're going to be able to deduct it, right? Through the scanning of your hand again. And it's going to scan. This time it's not going to scan and see your vein imagery. No, this time it will be through scanning that small device that's inside of your right hand. And it's going to be like, oh, okay, she's good. This is how she's going to pay for, she's good to, buy the stuff, because obviously she has the stuff in the device in her right hand. Once it scans, it's going to deduct the money. She's good to go, right? There's not going to be no transactions of, using physical payments and things like that, right? And even when you go back to the article, it says journalist pays with Palm at Whole Foods using futuristic scanners and says it was scarily convenient. So that's going to be also the thing. It's going to be convenient. Just swipe your hand real quick and you get to go. Oh, matter of fact, another example is what the Omni system that they have with the MTA and all that, right? Just the tap and go, just boop, and you're gone. That's the convenience. It's quick, easy, fast. You just get your stuff, whatever you need to get. You just swipe your hand. We read it. Oh, it's easy. It's just it read your information, took it, information ready. You good to go. You could dip out. No more long lines. No more waiting and all this type of stuff, right? The same thing like with the MTA, the Omni system that they have, which is funny. Omni meaning omni, if I'm not mistaken, omnipotent, which is right. If I'm not mistaken, all knowing or all seeing. I apologize for messing that up, right? So with that Omni system, it's just a tap and go. Just tap your credit card and you're good to go. There's no rushing or anything. You could just skate on by or skate through quickly, and you could go on your way. See, this is the convenience that they're gonna how they're gonna catch people with that convenience. Everything is fast. Everything is quick. We live in a popcorn society where everybody wants what everything quick, fast, right? Even people want what is that people don't want delayed gratification. People want instant gratification. Everything's fast. Everybody got to notice me. Things like this. Everybody wants to become popular fast, right? So that is another way, like it says here, scarily convenient. Convenience is what's going to get people killed. Convenience is what's going to get people thrown in the lake of fire. But for us, we pray that, as it's written here, I'm sorry. Yep, here we go. Because this is going to be that MOTB, because we're commanded not to take the MOTB, right? So it says, Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10, it says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience. Now, what is the word of the Lord's patience? This truth that we have been given, right? Because what we are commanded, if you read Revelation 14 chapter, talks about the judgment of those who receive the MOTB, right? So anybody who receives that, you're going to partake in the second death, which is the nuclear fire, right? That's going to be the judgment for taking that small device, right? So we have been commanded, us in this truth, us who know, have been commanded not to take that MOTB, right? So it says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, which is this truth, he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation. And that word keep goes back to the Hebrew word shamar, which means to watch, to guard. So it says, because we have kept the Lord's truth, we have kept patience, right? The suffering. The Lord said that he will watch us and keep us in the hour of temptation. That hour of temptation is when they make the MOTB mandatory for everyone to get it, right? They're going to institute where everybody is required to take it. There, no ifs, ands, or buts. We don't care about no religious exemptions, no none of that. It is mandatory to take it, or if you don't take it, you're either going to be separated from society where you can't partake, where you can't buy nothing, and that's going to be a form of them trying to tempt you to take it. Hey, you can't eat. Since you don't want to take this thing, okay, well, you can't partake in the society. You can't buy nothing. You can't do nothing, right? Or we're just going to have to lock you up because, again, we can't identify who you are, right? So that's the hour of temptation when the MOTB is made mandatory, right? And you must take it. If not, under the penalty of death, the beheadings as well. So it says, I will also keep thee, which means to watch, to guard you from the hour of temptation. So the Lord said that if we keep the patience unto the end, which is this truth, we endure unto the end, he will watch over us. He will keep us safe during the times of the hour of temptation. So we have nothing to worry about. Although it's going to be a trying time, the Lord Yahweh Bashim Ashah said what? We keep his patience, we keep this word, he's going to keep us during the hour of temptation. So when it's times where it's like when the obviously can't partake in society because you didn't take it, so there's no food, the Lord will find a way to give us food, and we have examples of that. One example I give you is Elijah. Elijah was on the run from, if I'm not mistaken, from Jezebel or King Ahab, one of the two, and the Lord fed him, used ravens to feed him bread and flesh in the morning every day. And he also drank of the brook Cherith, if I'm not mistaken. The Lord told him to go somewhere where there would be a brook where he could drink some water, and the Lord used ravens to feed him. The Lord used manna from heaven to feed the children of Israel in the wilderness. So here are all these examples. Daniel in the lion's den, right? The Lord sent Habakkuk, another prophet, to feed him and things like that. Excuse me, right? So there's multiple ways that the Lord can provide and take care of us during the time, during the hour of temptation. We just need to keep the Lord's patience and believe that the Lord will do these things. I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world. And the word world there is oikumene, which means the whole inhabitable world, to try them that dwell upon the earth. So this is going to be a global thing that will try everybody upon the earth, right? Because you have Israelites scattered throughout the whole earth, right? Through the four corners of the earth. So, but going back to that part again, if we keep the Lord's patience, the Lord will keep us during the hour of temptation, right? We keep this word safe, we keep this testimony, the Lord's going to keep us during that time. He's going to provide and protect us, right? As it's written, the Lord is not unrighteous to forget your labor of love and your works which you have shown toward his name and do. So we have nothing to fear. But just wanted to bring this article out and bring out this information. I pray that this video was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash, Shalom.